Dear us Electronica visitors, please be welcome to my own fashion system reboot. My name is Elisabeth Jayot. I am one of the 10 artists having been awarded a European grant by the Re-Fream project launched by Starts. I am a French perspective designer and an academic consultant working at the crossroads of fashion craftsmanship and digital manufacturing. In 2017, I created the studio Fragments Garments, which develops sustainable alternative scenarios and processes for garment longevity and user involvement. Doing research and development for a circular fashion future, I want to reconcile sustainability with the pleasure of trends renewal. Fashion and sustainability seem to live in two opposite space-time. In fact, the essence of fashion is change, when sustainability is based on durability. And constantly moving trends are now shown as the origin of the environmental disaster which makes our industry one of the most polluting in the world. I decided to take this paradox as the starting point of my work. Inspired by Gilbert Simondon's philosophy, I conceive garments as an open object with reusable and recombinable spare parts, just like your car or Lego kit. In nature, ability to morph leads to durability. That's the reason products I create are made to evolve. My seamless modular clothes can easily and quickly be manually assembled, dismantled, and transformed by the user with no special skills or machine to adapt it to trends, season, size, or changing needs. Those playful and fully laser-cut designs are accompanied by a new vision on the fashion supply chain for the circular economy. Relying on a cost reduction fabulous business model, the fast fashion brands design cheap and trendy products in their headquarters, outsource their fast-paced production in low-wage countries where regulations are less restrictive, but retain control over distribution through their globalized retail chains. To counter this harmful system, which causes important social and environmental impacts, I propose to relocate the clothing production inside Europe through a network of Fab Lab-inspired urban micro-manufacturing units called Fashion Fab Stores. I propose to invert the current paradigm by relying on the globalized trade of digital pattern design sold online as blueprints, with production and distribution gathered in fashion fab stores, providing local and on-demand production of customized and made-to-measurement modular clothing. Fashion fab stores would offer 4 areas dedicated to shopping, customization service, digital fabrication, and product cycling. Within the shop would be found ready-to-wear seamless modular clothing, ready-to-be-assembled kits, and garment spare parts to update existing products. The customization service would propose to personalize clothing by selecting fabrics in the local sustainable textile library. Digital fabrication would concentrate all the computer numerical control technologies used for production, and product cycling would be dedicated to reparation, upcycling, second-hand clothes and parts resell or swapping, as well as collecting and sorting damaged parts for recycling. Engaged on such topic, I logically joined the From Linear to Circular Re-Fream Challenge, for which I cooperated with the R&D textile company iTex and the Sustainable Dyeing Specialist Care Applications, both in Hub Valencia. In Austria, I cooperate with the 3D printing expert Profactor in Steyr, as well as performed body scanning in Aratech and used the Grand Garage Fab Lab facilities in Linz. But facing borders closures, this long-dreamed 3 months co-creation came down to a 3 weeks rush, and the resulting global lockdown made me eventually end up with the longest ever face-to-face date with my computer screen. With no access to my atelier or to textiles or even to my working tools, this laptop became my sole creative headspace during the quarantine. So let me bring you on a tour. Together with my tech partners, we developed 3 modular clothing collections. For the first one, named B-Square, I reinterpreted the Dior iconic New Look line with a high-waisted full skirt paired with an oversized crop top. These silhouettes have been entirely digitally conceived to avoid pre-production waste of paper, cardboard, and toile fabric. After optimizing the pattern placement to limit cutting waste, I prototyped a first wide version of the modular look. With Romano Campese, Carmina Ferri, and Belen Hinojosa, my colleagues from Care Applications, we studied the potential of implementing on-demand textile dyeing and finishing using the sustainable nebulization technique they developed, which allows using only the exact amount of water and product the garment can absorb without any waste. Named EcoFinish, this technology is provided by modular mechanical devices which are installed on existing machinery to be repurposed and optimized in a more sustainable and versatile way at a reduced cost. Depending on the process, this mist, replacing a traditional washing or dyeing bath, can save from 50 to 90% of water, from 33 to 90% of chemical products, and a total of 85% of energy. In Care's applications lab, we first proceeded with shrinkage tests to evaluate the more suitable fabrics. Then we tried on softening and waterproof treatments. We ended selecting 2 wools, a silk organza and a pinatex, a biodegradable material made of pineapple waste, all white, to be then on-demand dyed. We first combined red and yellow chemical dyes to find the perfect bright orange shade for the silk organza. Even if nebulization is a zero-waste process, I decided to move on to natural dyes. We experimented with acacia and Campeche trees powders, which gave a nice cream coffee and deep purple colors to wool and pinatex. To enhance the offer of on-demand dyes, finishings and laser-cut garments, I imagine, in cooperation with Elena Gillen at Profactor, customizable and reusable 3D printed clothing fasteners. We discovered that some of the inks used on the polyjet machine can be dyed by nebulization after printing. Fashion fab stores could thus propose different sustainable white fabrics and transparent printing inks to offer customization and at the same time reduce overstock and waste. As I aim at lengthening clothes' lifespans, in facilitating spare parts reuse, thus enhancing the transformation potential of clothes, it was fundamental to envision the product's second life and to explore upcycling possibilities. For this second collection, named 12 cm square, I started with collecting all remaining dismantled modules from previous experiments to be repurposed. Until now, I have mainly used end-of-collection fabrics rolls and leathers from luxury houses bought at dedicated Parisian resellers. But the small size of the zero-waste 12 cm square module created during the World's Partnership project last year led me to envisage using production textile cutting waste instead. Consequently, I dug into years of atelier fabric scraps. Once removed those improper for laser cutting, I sorted them by weight and color to create monochrome cameos, before joining them with the corresponding modules previously collected. Being waste resulting from old projects, every fabric had different measurements and sometimes awkward shapes resulting from previous pattern cutting. Such pieces of information needed to be recorded before being in a position to imagine which garment could be made out of each fabric set, depending on total available yardage and material type. The bigger scraps were reserved for cutting archetypal parts such as collar or sleeves, when all the small ones were devoted to cutting basic modules. First proof of concept of this redesign practice, this very long code made of 9 different materials has been requested by a fashion curator to be displayed in an exhibition. At first, I didn't like the patchwork pattern I created by assembling the modules, so I fully dismantled it to remount the coat with this chevron pattern, creating an ombre effect, playing with the different material textures and shades. This initial prototype taught me that the main challenges of this approach were the limited amount of available material, which leaves no room for error and implies a very delicate stage of pattern placement, according to the weird shapes of fabric scraps, to maximize the textile use. Due to the extended number of different materials used in one sole garment, the time dedicated to machine settings test is lengthened. Previously, the machine was ordered to cut a panel of 100 modules in doing one at a time. But Luca Capelli, my high-tech tech partner, told me that the machine would work faster by doing every diagonal one way, then the other way, then horizontals, verticals, and finally the border rectangle. As a result, I totally redesigned my cutting files to make them more effective. Relying only on a basic square module was limiting style options, so I developed 3 new modules: a triangular, pentagonal, and hexagonal. The first 2 ones are usually used as finishing part for hems, neckline, or pockets, when the latter is a classical constructive part allowing to create large voluminous skirts. At the outset, this collection was meant to include only jackets and coats, but playing around with the different modules, I ended up modeling also tops, skirts, and dresses, just by puzzle making around the mannequin. During the production phase, we protected the precious leather with a special high-temperature silicone tape to obtain clean, burn-free cuts. We cut all the parts required to create the 9 prototypes in only 2 mornings. I initiated a collaboration with French local and sustainable manufacturer Coco Enrico to continue this collection with their production cutting waste. Lastly, for the 3rd collection, named Into the Woods, I had the chance to collaborate with another Re-Fream artist, Fabio Molinas, an industrial designer who has conceived materials made of cork powder, a waste of the wine stoppers production industry. During his Leather for Vegetarians project, he created with care applications a cork nebulization technique which has been here applied on the wool skirt. His cork leather has been used within the top among linen and wool cutting waste scraps from my atelier. In consequence, this earthy-toned, seamless and modular silhouette is fully biodegradable. After such an amazing set of cooperation and experiments, my next step would be to prototype a full-scale fashion fab store demonstrator next year. So stay tuned, follow us on Instagram, and don't hesitate to contact us if you would like to collaborate with us.